All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the FlappCast, Behind the Funny, where we find out what goes on behind the scenes at a comedy club. I'm Barbara Holliday, co-owner and booker at Flappers, and my partner in crime, sales and marketing director Joshua Snyder, is on his way to join me. And we're super excited to be here today.
Yes, we are.
We have so much to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
And that's the music out. I was kind of waiting for that wonderful music out. Okay. We are working on self-producing our podcast.
Correct.
Without anyone else helping us.
Right.
And we're getting a weird popping sound.
Yes, that is strange.
So we do not know. I never had that before, but...
Yes, I'm not a fan of the popping sounds. I prefer classical sounds.
Yes.
If you will.
So we don't
Joke number one.
But boom. Drum roll, please. I have a sound effect, but I don't have a drum roll. Audience applause.
You know what? I think we've earned it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we haven't even said anything yet.
No.
I wonder how many listeners we have alienated so far today.
I don't think we've alienated anybody.
Well, let's get to some topic. I have some things on my mind. We do not have a headliner with us today, but we have plenty of things to promote.
That's correct.
And that's what this FlappCast is all about, is
Promotion.
telling our listeners who is coming up and telling them jokes. Hopefully you and I can tell some jokes because we are also comedians.
Correct.
As
much off stage as we are on stage.
Yes. We're having a stressful day, in case you didn't notice. So what goes on behind the scenes is chaos, basically. No, what you find, we produce over 40 shows a week here at Flappers.
Yes,
you know that?
we do.
40 shows between Burbank and Claremont. That's a lot of show production.
Correct.
So what goes on behind the scenes of that is a lot of setup and takedown and people misplacing cables so that when you go to plug something in, they're not there. That's what's happening to us today.
Well, and the story, it was pretty amazing because, we find out Monday at 5 that Adam Sandler is coming Tuesday, right?
Yes.
And so and he wants to do, music. So we went from, a normal stand-up show to having somebody with a guitar and a keyboard, and you got to run in and change everything around and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this week we had a lot of surprise guests.
Yes.
We had Jerry Seinfeld came in on a Monday.
Yes.
And everyone does ask, how do you deal with that? Like, how do you find out and what happens and about promotion and stuff? So that's an interesting thing to address.
I think how we do it, here's what we do. We spend 6 years
building a club.
Really just banging our head against a wall. And then one day out of the blue, we get a call saying from Jerry saying, "Hey, can I pop in?"
Actually, Jimmy Brogan called us.
Right.
And Jimmy Brogan used to write for The Tonight Show, and you've seen him many, many times. Very funny comedian in his own right.
Yeah.
And he happened to be hanging out with Jerry that day, called me up and said, "Hey, Jerry wants to do some time." And I said, "Sorry, we're too busy. We don't have any room." No, I didn't say that.
Call in on Mondays. Send in your avails.
Right. Well, we tell every guy. No, I dropped everything.
Right.
And I said, "Of course." And then first thing I did is I called the producer of the amazing show we had booked, which was The Writers of Conan.
Yes.
And we had some great comics on there, all actually writers at Conan.
Mm-hmm.
Lori Kilmartin, Brian Kiley, Dan Cronin, Mike Sweeney. So many great, great writers behind all that funny you see the beautiful host delivering. I want to give those writers credit because it's all about the writing.
Yes.
And I called Brian Kiley, who was helping produce the show, and I said, "Hey, I have a surprise visitor." And he said, "Oh, Jimmy Brogan already called me and asked me if it was okay if Jerry stopped in." So that's how that happened.
How do you say no to Jerry Seinfeld? You can't. Who would?
I don't plan on ever saying no to Jerry Seinfeld.
Technically, in my family, he is a deity. He is in the pantheon. But
here's the dilemma of the comedy club, okay? A lot of people don't realize this, is when we get a call like that, it sounds awesome that, yay, we're going to have Jerry Seinfeld, but technically, we're not supposed to promote them.
Right.
So here we have this great comedian coming into Flappers, but we're not allowed to tell anyone about it, yet we have to have a full audience.
Mm-hmm.
we have to get people in here. So that's what Josh and I have to deal with every single day.
Yeah.
Is how do we tell people without telling people that Jerry Seinfeld's going to be here?
Right. And it depends on the comedian, because ultimately Seinfeld ended up tweeting it himself.
Well, it wasn't till 7:00, and literally the phone started ringing off the hook, and the website started crashing, and I picked up the phone and I asked a guest. I was like, "How did you hear about the show tonight?" And he said, Jerry Seinfeld just tweeted it. And then I yelled to the Joshua, Seinfeld tweeted it. We can go for it.
Yeah.
So
the audience knew before we did.
You know what the great lesson in this, though, is a lot of comics, they always say, oh, well, you need to book me in a show, but nobody's going to come see me, or I don't want to promote it. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And Jerry Seinfeld promoted his own show. That's how it's done. And he was so excited to do it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, his manager had come, Mr. George Shapiro, and also asked, hey, after Jerry tweeted, how many people bought tickets? And so that was pretty fun. We filled the room. Jerry filled the room with that tweet. And
yes.
But the reason he didn't, I really want new comics to understand this concept is, Jerry has 4.1 million Twitter followers all over the world. But he still understands that he has to get a crowd out to see him perform that night.
Right.
And he took the responsibility as a true comedian. I have to give him kudos for that.
Yeah.
And he took that responsibility on himself and made an audience happen for himself. And that's what all comics should do.
Someone who understands, I think, someone who gets it from the club's point of view. Who sees how everything works.
Yeah, watch the documentary Comedian. It will enlighten you.
Yeah.
And then when he was on stage, if those of you who didn't get to see him, it was miraculous. He's a structure guy all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had his notes, and he had boxes and jokes all written out in his little square boxes on his piece of paper. And when he came back to the green room after he was done, he was like, oh, no, I forgot that thing, or I forgot that thing, just like any comedian would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but you're so in the moment, and he discovered things so well. Anyway, can't say enough great things. Super great guy.
Yeah.
Very nice to our staff.
Mm-hmm.
And professional etiquette as a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
God, he took such good care of his manager, too.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. He walked his manager to the car at the end of the night.
He called ahead, made sure his manager had a ticket. And, it's comedians that don't have as much star power act more entitled than he did.
Right.
And that's what is so great about having those guys come in, is that when they're like that, when they're true comedians and respectful and professional, that's all we want in comedians. This is a fun job, really, but sometimes people are very arrogant, and we won't name those names now.
No, we won't.
But
There's just not enough time.
You know what's funny is on my notes of what I wanted to talk about today, in addition to Jerry Seinfeld, and by the way, then Adam Sandler came.
Right.
And what's interesting about Adam Sandler is I thought he found out through Jerry Seinfeld, because I was like, oh, did you read Jerry Seinfeld's tweet? And Adam said, no, my nephew, Jared Sandler, comes into the open mics all the time and was bragging about Flappers and talking about how fun it was. And to quote Adam Sandler, he's like, my nephew's always like, Flappers, Flappers, Flappers. And so he said he had to figure out and find out what Flappers was all about. So that's why Adam Sandler came to us.
Great. And also very nice.
The lesson in that is that we're, of course, great to open mic comedians here at Flappers, too, and very professional. And we treat them the way they should be treated, like professionals. And then they spread word to their famous aunts and uncles.
Correct.
Obviously.
Yes.
Which was fun. And Adam Sandler was also amazing.
And they both look good. That's the other thing. See, this is the
Adam Sandler looked really good.
This is the Jewish grandmother part of me. They looked phenomenal.
They looked amazing.
Do you think they had work done? I don't think they did.
Oh, my God. Have I ever talked to you in my Jewish mother accent? I haven't, have I? Oh, I can be Jewy as well.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
This is kind of weird.
Yes.
Like I'm talking to you like you're my Jewish son or something. This week, we have Bob Saget coming in on Wednesday.
Correct.
Bob Saget.
The one and only Bob Saget.
The one and only Bob Saget.
Yes.
And he does comedy music. Did you know that?
I did not until we booked him.
How he got started.
Until he came to, or he
got started in the comedy business doing comedy music. And then, got lucky to get on some shows, a few shows here or there, which I won't mention because I know you know it. It's something about an apartment? No. About a condo? No.
It's not empty. That's what it is.
Right.
What we're dealing with.
It's a domicile that's not empty.
Correct.
That show.
Yes.
So, full apartment?
Yeah.
Is that it? full duplex? No.
Actually, that's an interesting question because I think technically, I think it was a townhouse, technically.
Well, yeah, that's debatable. But we're talking so much today about professional etiquette, and obviously we have these great stories about big comedians coming in and acting like every other comedian, just being professional and humble and really wanting to work out and get their stage time.
Right.
I had a really crazy incident this week because that's what we're supposed to talk about behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
I did want to bring it up because you're still an active working comedian. I am not. However, I do manage comedians, and I often help comedians with their jokes. Mm-hmm. And this week, I had a series of about 80 emails related to joke stealing.
Ugh.
And this is a sensitive topic. And I don't know why, but comedians feel the need to CC me on every detail of their transactions when it comes to joke stealing. Like, for some reason, if I read it, I'm like going to step in and say, oh, yes, you stole the joke from so-and-so.
You know who needs to know about this? Flappers Comedy Club.
Yeah, Flappers needs to know about it. But
the world will know.
Right. And you know what I did? I basically just filed them into the trash can. Not because joke stealing is not a problem, nor should it not be addressed. I think you should never steal jokes. I mean, it's just that is part of the professional etiquette we're always talking about. However, this is right. When are you stealing a joke, and when is the topic just something that is common knowledge?
Well, and then this
comedians?
is something I've heard that I remember when I took a late night writing class with a guy who's on Conan, and I think he had a Conan writer said this is that it's okay to steal the setup, but not the punchline, especially with political jokes and topical jokes. Because
it's not that you're actually stealing it though. That's a strange word. It's just that the right now Trump is, our president, and so everyone's going to be talking about Trump. So
right.
If you have a setup about Trump and the Affordable Health Care Act, and I have a setup about the Affordable Health Care Act, did I steal it from you? No.
I did
not.
I always like to write topical jokes. And back when there was the BP spill, oil spill, and at one point they were trying to fix it by putting a giant dome on top of it.
Uh-huh.
And the joke I came up with is, what is this like? What is this like Wile E. Coyote or something? And I watched the Tonight Show Jay Leno was still on at the time, and he did that exact joke.
Of course.
But that's not. I don't see that as stealing. It was parallel thinking.
I was in a sketch group for years, and I wrote jokes and sketches. And then, do you think I didn't see them on Saturday Night Live? I mean, in fact, I think that's a sign of a great writer. I see it even now. I go, oh, that would be a great joke, and then it's on SNL.
Right.
So. But what I'm talking about is downright accusing someone of stealing your joke and getting into a nasty email battle or social media web battle. It's just not necessary. And I know most podcasts, we're supposed to be assholes and opinionated, but we're not like that here at Flappers, and I don't think you should be. My advice on this is write another joke. I mean, why are you, in all the time and hours you spent in an email battle, you could have been writing at least 10 more jokes. Well,
it reminds me of also, I saw an interview with Seinfeld and Chris Rock and Louis C.K. And I guess Seinfeld and Chris Rock have a disagreement where Chris Rock thinks people are coming to see the human being, and Seinfeld thinks they're coming to see the jokes. And
I think people are coming to see the human being.
We're
going to argue about this now.
I think it's a combination.
Let's do it.
I think it's a combination. I think
it is. Some people are better performers, and some people are better joke tellers.
But if I'm
both.
sure Seinfeld can write a joke that a lot of other people could deliver. But I want to see Seinfeld deliver it though, because it's him.
Well,
so I think sometimes when people are thinking, "Oh, he stole my joke," well, they can't. Even if it did get stolen, which it sounds like in this case it didn't, or it was a parallel thinking. There's still you can't. No one can steal you.
Correct. If you're doing jokes that are from your unique point of view. Mm-hmm. The thing for me is I have been a manager of talent, and I do help write jokes sometimes. I guide the performers comedians into certain jokes. So what's funny about this jokes telling emails back and forth was for some reason, like they were defending the concept that, well, Barbara was my manager at the time, so she knows I did this joke. And then the other person was like, well, I know Barbara at Flappers, and so I know she would vouch for me that I'm not stealing jokes. So then suddenly I'm in the middle of this email battle that I have nothing to do with.
So
like,
I don't even know. You got to treat it like King Solomon. We're going to say you're going to cut the joke in half.
All right. You get part of it.
You get the setup, and you get the punchline. How about that?
Ooh. That's not a bad way to resolve it.
Yeah, and they can only do the setup, and they can only do the punchline.
I wonder if the comedians who were sending me these emails are listening. I won't name their names, but because there's no reason to. But the point is, again, I just think you should spend your time writing the jokes instead of arguing over someone stole your joke. It's not that good of a joke.
Yeah.
You can write another one or give it up, It just goes to prove, like, there's just so... Now, in my head, I have these two comedians, and quite frankly, I do not want to book them on anything because I don't want to be in the middle of some kind of email nonsense.
Right, or go through that of, well, no, I can't book them on the same show now, and I have to keep track of that. Yeah.
So there is a little bit of etiquette to this, though, that I will say, because my partner, Dave Reinitz, he was doing a bit about drug ads and side effects on drug ads forever, like probably 96 to 2000. Mm-hmm. Then we actually ended up going to see Seinfeld in San Diego. And when we paid $110 for a ticket, we're sitting there, we're watching Seinfeld, and then all of a sudden Seinfeld does the drug ad bit. Uh-huh. And there's some lines that were almost identical to what Dave had written. Now, did he steal it from Seinfeld? No. Seinfeld had never even done that material yet. Mm-hmm. But there's another example of that concept. And who do you think had to give it up?
Dave,
of course. Yeah. I mean, you can't. You're not going to get on stage and be, Seinfeld stole my jokes. Right. I mean, that's such a nonsensical thing. It's like, just drop it and write something else and move on.
I think when the setup, if every setup of your set is things that that actually happen to you, that is the truth.
Let's talk like say sex, or like you talk about it from the perspective of being a virgin, and I talk about it from the perspective of being a whore. But so, it's going to be two different experiences. You didn't like that? Okay.
I did like it. I thought
no one's listening anyway. Are you? Are you listening? No, I believe you are listening.
Right. I don't buy that you're a whore. I don't think that's
slut. No.
And can I say, too, by the way, this is kind of a non sequitur, but I really think there still is a double standard where if a guy has sex with 5 women, he's a stud, but if a woman has sex with 5 guys, the term slut really bothers me.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
At the same time? Sorry.
That's unadvisable, and there's parking problems.
Well, that leads me to the preferred gender pronoun topic that's going on this week, which I do have some opinions about this. I work with a lot of college students, and I did just get an email before I attend a conference next week that we need to make sure and specify what identity we are identifying with, right? So what preferred gender pronouns we want to use to introduce ourselves. So I think I'm supposed to say, like, I, Barbara Holiday, I identify with the gender pronoun she, or she's, or they.
Now, what are all of them, though?
Or it. Well, apparently there's over 200 now, they say. They found this out. There's an great article in Time Magazine this week. As you know, I like to read the Time. And they were saying that on college applications, they were asking students to write in, if they didn't identify with male or female, what gender or what other name would they prefer to be called. Right. And apparently, literally, there were over 200 different write-ins. and they're everything from they, it, I, she, she's, he, they, theirs, it. I already said it.
It's amazing because I feel like even 5 years ago, calling
he, she, he,
someone an it would have been an insult. You'd think
it still is. I think. Well, my argument is, why can't we just use our names and say, "Hi, I'm Barbara Holiday," and who cares if I'm a man or a woman? And in fact, this may benefit ladies, to be honest, though, because if we don't know if it's a male or female, they at least will get paid the same.
Yeah.
But a boom!
Right.
That deserves audience applause on that one. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Right?
I don't know.
It's a good argument for that, right?
I'm kind of glad. I think this is a good. I think we need to get out of.
Yeah, it's a little late.
I think we need to get out of how much we categorize people. I think that's really one of the worst things that we do as a society, is that, this person is straight, this person is gay, this person is this person is that.
Well, I'm still confused why gender and then sexual orientation are necessarily the same thing, because I think they're different things.
Aren't they?
They are completely different things.
Yeah.
But I think they're becoming all in one. Like here's the argument that I have toward the gay or preferred gender pronoun situation now. I feel like it's sort of a bit, I want to make a statement from young people because my friends, I have many gay friends, and for years my gay friends were all saying, this is not a choice. This is how I am. This is not a choice. Well, now what's changing is that is exactly the word that's changing, is choice. Now young people say, I want to choose what kind of identity, what my sexuality is now. And it is a choice. So that's kind of going to set gay rights back a little bit, because think about that, right? Now, for years we fought for, hey, it's not a choice. If you're gay, you're gay. But now suddenly it's, well, today I want to be gay, but tomorrow I'm going to be bi. Or I'm going to be whatever.
I mean, the thing about it's my choice, I think, is a reaction to people saying that it's wrong to be gay, and you don't have to be gay because it's a choice. I think it's from the religious thing where it's
it really is. Again, it's going to be hard now, because if everything's a choice, well, then everything is a choice. But that doesn't mean that you aren't a male or a female or have some form of anatomy. You see, like the sexual orientation and the gender. Right. I don't know. I think that people confuse those two things, right? Like if you're a male, you automatically
just because
are in love with a woman.
Just because, for instance, someone is a transvestite, like Eddie Izzard comes to mind. He likes to wear women's clothes, but he is attracted to women. And so I think what was happening is that people were assuming that he was gay when he's not.
Who cares about any of it? Just do what you want to do, and be who you are, and just introduce yourself by your name. But now we're going to call ourselves it. That's not nice. I it. Hello. I human. I Barbara. I human. I now. Hello. I help you. I don't know. It's just becoming so.
Well, it's like
formal.
It's like what my mother always says. Don't worry about it, because there's not going to be an ozone layer in 10 years anyway.
Like, Josh, should I ask you? Hello, Joshua Snyder.
Hello.
What gender do you identify with?
I don't know.
That's probably true. The PC term right now, though, right? It's gender fluid.
Gender fluid.
Right. So if our manager, William, has a young daughter, I'm sure he's hearing some of these. I'm getting a smirky smirk. William, what does your daughter identify with? She's a girl. Girl. She says. So you can say that.
Well, for me, gender would be male, almost. And sexuality would be, I guess.
See, why do we have to tell people our sexuality? That's the thing. That's what I'm arguing about
Marketing.
Right here. Oh, well, if you want to build an audience.
Well, no, but I actually, just because you have to let people know, because now, if like I'm.
Only if you're dating or want to. What if you're asexual?
Then you have to have a sign that says, no vacancy.
That's not bad. But you see what I mean? Like, because I'm a woman, then what? I'm not going to tell you what my sexuality is. Why should I? Unless I want.
Shouldn't have to. No.
Unless I want to go on a date with you.
Right.
Or if I'm putting myself in Match.com, I guess then your sexual orientation would be important for yourself, so that you could attract people who are interested in your sexual orientation. Which, whatever it is, who cares? Why do I care?
I think people have this need to categorize. There's just this labels,
and that's what the millennial, or not even millennials, younger, the new generation are rebelling against, the labels.
And I wonder if it harkens back to when there's all these tribes of apes, and there's an ape that's going, okay, this is my tribe, and they're the enemy. Or there's some
but Josh, for sales and marketing, it is going to suck for us, if we don't know, because we know now our demographics are about 65% male. We get more men.
I don't know if
women.
that's the term we can use anymore. 65% they have a penis. Is that
no? Well, this is the argument, isn't it?
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. It's gonna f with our statistics because we won't know. But as far as which comedians we book all comedians, so it wouldn't really matter, right?
No, I don't. We don't. We don't like to book mean people. That's the only thing I'd say. I don't know. Do they have a gender?
Not on purpose, anyway.
Is there a gender for mean
Sometimes
people?
Sometimes we do, but it's not on purpose. The mean gender?
Yeah,
that's not a gender. See, look. So now you're getting to this. It's first there's a gender, then there's a sexual orientation,
okay,
and
gender,
then there's an
attitude. Attitude.
That would be mean, asshole-ic, whatever.
Gotcha.
Right?
That's how we should judge people. Is the attitude, and the other thing, who cares?
Correct.
That's
a great idea.
Yeah, that's instead of
your
knowing,
attitude?
Yeah.
Happy? Great.
Like instead of knowing whether or not you're a man or a woman, I want to, are you a nice person or an asshole? Like that's the email that you need to send.
But assholes don't know they're assholes. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's not going to work out.
Well, maybe Yelp can get on board, and we'll have to start Yelp reviewing each other.
Just some ideas. Just some ideas. If you
if somebody would let me know, hey, my name is Jim, and I'm an asshole. Just letting you know for when you set up the presentation. Great, Jim. Thank you. And Jim, asshole.
And then when we invite the audience, we can say, hey, by the way, Jim's an asshole. And
so he won't be taking photos afterwards.
No meet and greet. Nothing
no
like
meet and
that.
Greet. Right.
You're just on your own.
If you don't laugh at everything he says, he will blame you.
Good luck getting a response if you give him feedback on his presentation. Good luck with that. But just so you know. And then
I love that, a heads up, frankly.
Yeah, this is not about... I like this. If you could put that in your dating profile, too.
Yeah.
That would solve everything.
Are you an asshole? Yes. Oh, good to know.
Because this is what the young people say is I've heard this a lot. It's well, I don't know if I want to go out with a male or a female because I just want to go out with a person who I connect with.
Uh-huh.
This solves all those problems.
Right.
What would we call this dating site? Assholes.com? Mm-hmm. Let us know you're an AuthenticAssholes.com.
What would it be? Tender.
Tender? Tender. That works. And you just state your type right off. We have gone on a crazy, weird tangent today.
Yes.
And we actually don't have a lot of time left.
No, we don't.
Because we're getting ready for the Jimmy Dore podcast tonight.
Correct.
Which is sold out. Please watch Jimmy Dore. You want to hear some attitude. Go watch a Jimmy Dore video. That is some progressive.
Here's what I love about it.
Ranting.
Here's my favorite moment. One of the last ones I was watching. Moments, I should say. So Jimmy Dore, obviously very funny, but also will speak very, very passionately about it and get really, really angry. So he'll get really, really, really angry. There'll be a pause, and then one of the other panelists, who's a comedian, will be like, break the tension by doing, and we're all going to die, or something like that. And it's so fascinating to watch that because it's almost like the Daily Show, but on steroids. It's really cool.
Well, Jimmy's producing 30 videos a week or something. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if that's the exact count, but you definitely should go to the Jimmy Dore Show on YouTube and subscribe to these videos because if you don't like Trump, you will love Jimmy Dore. No. But actually, it's not just Trump, though. He's just progressive. And
because he'll criticize the Democrats.
A lot of criticism on the Democrats.
Yeah.
And all politics right now, basically. Yes. It's let's make some change.
Right.
And come and he's still a $10 ticket. Can you believe it? And that means Jimmy is really for the man. So you can...
Or woman. Or
preferred gender pronoun here.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to start saying is just insert preferred gender pronoun here. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm glad the audience is on our side.
Yes. So let's wrap up our crazy sexually oriented and gender pronoun based podcast today with talking about who else can we get here at Flappers other than we know Bob Saget's coming on the 22nd.
We've got Bob Saget coming.
Wow.
We've got tomorrow we're doing an interesting show called Host versus Host with Mo Mandel and Michael Costa. Ooh. And Theo Vaughn is actually one of the guests on it.
That sounds excellent.
And that's cool. And then Bob Saget on Wednesday. And then
doing all original comedy music.
Yes, all original comedy music. Lori Kilmartin. Let me tell you about Lori Kilmartin. So she's here this Friday and Saturday. So when Seinfeld was here, he goes up, does a half hour, gets a standing ovation, and then Lori gets up.
But wait. That's not how it was going to happen, though.
Right.
He was supposed to go last. Mm-hmm. That is how we planned it. But then when he came, he saw the room, saw the audience, he got excited, he wanted to go up sooner, right. So I had to ask Lori, oh my gosh, is this okay? Mm-hmm. And she amazingly said
yes. And she got up there and
killed it.
She killed it. And that's a pro.
Yeah.
I mean, she was able to follow Jerry Seinfeld. She's
so low maintenance and one of the funniest women out there. You got to follow at Lori Kilmartin. Such great tweets too. She's a really good tweeter. Well, also a writer on Conan.
Correct.
And
So she's coming up Friday and Saturday in Claremont this weekend.
Our Women's March Madness.
Yes, Women's March. And then
I added madness like I'm some sports person or something. Yay, madness. Okay. No, just Women's March. Just a couple more weeks of all-female headliners.
Yes, just a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do more after that.
Yeah, we still book women headliners. But it was nice to actually have
and men and transgendered.
Sorry, insert preferred gender pronoun here.
And in Claremont, the show.
Oh gosh, the show. You have to listen to the show. I need a clip of them right now. Hang on. Do I have a clip of them?
They just have a new YouTube video that is, I think, about to go viral or is going viral of them singing about Nintendo.
Oh my gosh. Do we have a clip of it? Here, keep talking while I bring
And here's what you need to do. You need to watch that video with somebody who is a huge Nintendo nerd because you will enjoy the show's performance. And you will equally enjoy the Nintendo nerd sitting there going, "No, that's incorrect. That's not the right cheat code. No, that factually inaccurate.
That's what happened to us.
Yes,
is we actually were doing that, and someone in our office basically said, "What? Why can't I find this right now? Actually, here, let me go to the shows. Oh, I think it's on our channel." By the way, go to Flappers' YouTube channel. We are really working on beefing up our videos on our channel, and we're not logged in right now because I was unprepared today. God. I really wanted to play a clip of the show. Here, keep talking while I call this up. I need another hand, and then we'll wrap out with the Nintendo song.
Right, wrap out with the Nintendo song. So the show's coming. We'll come back to the show in a second, and then next week. We have on Wednesday the Lampshades with Kate Flannery from The Office and Scott Robinson. There we go, from Anchorman. And these guys are the greatest dying lounge act you'll ever see. Awesome show. And then Thursday is not this Thursday, but next Thursday is the start of our More Thursdays, a new once a month show featuring Jay Moore. From SNL, from More Sports, Gary Unmarried. And
he's starting to do once a month.
Yes, once a month. And Jay Moore, I really laughed hard at Jay Moore. And I don't laugh hard at everybody. Jay Moore I really laughed hard at. I've never seen a man talk about testicles for as long.
He's another ranter, He just goes off on these tangents. It was amazing.
Yeah, very stream of consciousness. And, his phenomenal special. Absolutely phenomenal special. But there's a difference between watching a special and then seeing him live. It's a whole different thing because he's got the material that'll go into, but then to see him, come up with stuff on the spot and kind of go off on tangents, there's no way you can get that from watching it, on Netflix or something. As good as the special on Netflix was. we still looking for the thing?
You know what? My computer skills are clearly not being shown off right now. I was going to try and fade out, but I think you're just going to have to go to the show on YouTube. That's what I was doing. I'm having a little internet. That's always when you want to get what you want.
Yep.
And you're not being very supportive in filling the time and making it look like
it wasn't anything. Well,
yeah, you're stressing me out by making me try to get to it, and really, I'm just trying to.
I can keep vamping. Let's keep talking. Let's talk about.
Done. I'm gonna get this song up.
You know, the next Batman movie. When's it gonna come out? They were saying 2018.
Suck right
now
now.
They're saying
Here
2019.
we go. My God, that took me. I am so sorry, guys. That was totally my fault. Listen to this.
Hey, what are you doing up here? Aren't you going to come down to the party?
No, I'm not coming to the party.
Why not?
I'm going to play this.
That old thing? Does that even work?
I'm about to get it to work. I'll help.
Let's take you back. Original Nintendo. A Duck Hunt, a combo with a Super Mario. And you know
go on
how
YouTube and watch the
badly
video.
I want this to go.
I wanna
But the
dance to
power
it.
won't work with all the tricks that you know.
It's a really
You
fun
tap it,
song.
tap
This
it
is
over.
a all musical
Even hit it twice.
The
Your friend tries to
With that
tell
on
you, man.
You should play with it nice.
Okay, I'm
Shut
gonna
up,
let
you're
tease them.
stupid. You need to stop
Yes,
talking.
that
This
sounds
is
good.
my freaking Nintendo.
Go
man.
watch
You
this
can
video.
get to walking, 'cause I know
Also, for those of you
exactly
comedians out there, the Burbank Comedy Festival submissions
Yes.
open April 1st. This year, it's our 4th year, and it is going to be bigger and better this year than it has been the last 3 years. Who do we already have Hal Sparks. We already have Jimmy Pardo and Jimmy Dore doing their podcasts. Again, we've got Craig Shoemaker.
Kevin Pollak.
Kevin
has moved
Pollak
to
and Kevin
the Comedy
Leafer.
Festival.
Right.
So that's cool.
We've got them. Jeff Garland, of course, will be back.
So many great comics.
Yeah, a lot of big names, and it's going to be.
We can really talk, Josh. We were
Yeah, we
only
can.
going to do a half hour today, but all right. I think we've given our listeners enough. Hey, what we really could use is if you guys want to write in and tell us who you'd like to see or hear on the podcast.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, I am going to try to. We should play a comedy song. We should do our songs in the key of funny segment each time,
yeah.
and play one of our favorite comedy music songs. And I might dance.
Right.
That could be a fun
in the contract
segment.
It's
really?
in your. You have to. Yes.
Okay,
You're
perfect.
Actually, next week would
So-
be the good way to do that because next week on the FlappCast we're expecting to get Kate Flannery will be here and
she can sing a song for
and
us.
Kristen
maybe.
Key, who's also headlining.
Yeah, we'll
next
play
weekend.
some of their
Yeah.
some of their ditties.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, Josh, I think it's time to wrap out. Yeah.
Yes, I think it is too.
So thanks again for joining us on another exciting episode of the FlappCast.
Yes.
I need another hand to
What
turn up
do-
my bass. Or you can talk.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. This has been the FlappCast. Your sound engineer is Barbara Holiday. Your executive producer is Barbara Holiday. Line producer, Barbara Holiday.
Stop it. Joshua Snyder. Thanks again, you guys, for listening. And please don't forget to get on our text messaging. You can text Burbank
To 76626.
766-26. Perfect. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the FlappCast.